My name is Anthony Bailey Grice, or if you're listening to the transcribed version, my name is Anthony Daly Gright, which is what it called me last month. I'm the managing director of LNPG. I'm joined, as ever, as is the fashion these days, by Laura from marketing. Hello, Laura.
Hello.
Do you notice how I didn't say your last name there? Because I noticed that it's not on your name thing, and I thought well, I better avoid that.
It's on the screen, and
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah, it's there. Laura Lee. I forgot I wrote it.
you've
Never
put it
mind.
on the thing.
As well as well, actually, do you know what? I'm just gonna crack on because we've got an introduction slide for these guys so they can keep stump for now. We're with Wolseley, specifically the bathroom side, and I've called it Plumb Centre throughout because they're having a bit of a branding crisis over the last few years. So I'm gonna call them Plumb Centre from now on. But if I do say Wolseley, it's just because that's what I'm used to calling them at the minute. Specifically, we are joined by Matt Swindles, who is the hardest person to photograph on planet Earth, according to the internet. I had no idea what he looked like up until about 6 months ago when we did a Teams, and I've given him a tap head today because there's no image that exists of him. Now, Matt is the National Showroom Development Manager. Matt, do you want to say hello and just explain what that means?
Hi, good evening. Yeah, my name's Matt Swindles. I look after the limited 24 showrooms for Plumb Centre, having previously run a showroom for 6 or 7 years. A lot of experience with LNPG, having run half the country, everything south of Hull for about three before we split it. And my job is to work with the showrooms to develop the proposition and to try and get better products at a better price with a better quality and a better service proposition overall for all of our customers, including everybody on here who is an LNPG member.
Right, thank you. And then prepare yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, for a very sultry photo indeed. This is Jonathan Hepworth, LNPG's account manager. This is his legitimate LinkedIn profile picture. Now, you should all know Johnny, but go on, introduce yourself all the same.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Johnny Hepworth, or Jonathan, as it alludes to on there. I've looked after LMPG since 2016, so I know them inside out and every member of staff in the office. I really enjoy making sure the members get what they want when they want it, and I'm sort of there in the background, always trying to iron out any issues as and when they crop up.
Yeah, if anything ever gets too difficult for a branch to handle or anything like that, the first word uttered in the office is call Johnny, and he'll sort it out. So he's there more
And then
often than not.
I stop, and I kind of do that pause and think about what I'm going to do,
It's a
and then
new
it takes
dawn, it's a new day. Sorry.
And finally, though they're not here tonight, although I guess they kind of are in a way, I just wanted to bring up these guys, the national showrooms. There's a full network of showrooms, which on every Getting Started webinar and every kind of presentation that I'm doing with members, I'll always talk about the showrooms because they are by far the best way for members to talk about bathrooms and get a great bathroom design for their properties. You've got branches all over the place, of course, but if if you're going to find a mistake, it's going to be with a branch because the products, they don't have that expertise like the showrooms do. And Matt makes sure that everyone there is completely up to speed. So let's talk a little bit about tonight's topic is the big 2025 bathroom shakeup. So Matt's been doing an awful lot of work in the background to improve and reinvent the bathroom offering through Plumb Centre for 2025, moving through to 2026. And a lot of those changes have started taking effect already. Some of them are still to come, but we're kind of toward the end of that journey. This webinar has been planned in for a long, long time. We've just had to make sure that all our ducks are in a row first. But what I wanted to start with is really the history of this account, because although we've worked with Wolseley for a long time now, longer than I've even been with LMPG, we've actually only worked on the bathroom side with them since 2019. So I was involved in setting that side up. Now, we were with bathrooms.com and we had a great relationship with them. We had a great product range with them. We had great team, marketing, brochures, everything. They did really, really well. But a few things kind of changed very, very quickly. And one thing that didn't change was distribution. Distribution was always awful with any e-commerce because they were farming it out to third party contractors who, you mix Hermes delivery with sanitary ware, and what you end up with is broken sinks, broken toilets. Every single week we had this. Now we slotted into Plumb Centre really neatly, actually, and it was more shocking to us than we'd expected. And I want to go through a few of these key points that we really, tooting our own horn here, but we really nailed this from the beginning. And these are kind of still the cornerstones of where this account is. So the first thing is the history. We've worked with a Wolseley Plumb Centre for a long, long time. What's really difficult with when I'm going out and talking to manufacturers and I'm talking to suppliers is you understand really quickly whether a supplier gets it or doesn't get it. LNPG is a complete wild animal to some of these suppliers, and everyone's got a box where they want us to fill in a number of what we're going to buy, how much we're going to buy of it, what we need here, what we need there. And it's an impossible task for us to do. We never fill in that box because we can't say at all, members are definitely going to buy it. We're going to buy 8,000 of these, we're going to buy 10,000 of these. The value of this account is in taking that step, taking that leap of faith and leading with your best foot forward, putting skin in the game and saying, this is our best proposition. Now let's show the members and show them that if they're wanting to buy this, or they're wanting to buy that, we're the place to go to. We already had this history with Wolsey and it was a huge step up with us. The second thing, which is kind of related to this, is the accounts. We've got 5,500 members, 5,500 accounts already created with Wolseley. So there you go. We don't have to do anything else apart from add the right products and make sure that the terms are well. Now, the third is distribution. And I mentioned this earlier on. This was our biggest problem, bar none, with bathrooms.com. Now, everything that they did was brilliant, but as soon as you handed it over to a third party courier, things turned up broken. We were buying a lot of bathroom products. So it was really irritating. It was completely unsolvable. Now, I would always urge members to reconsider if you're looking at something online, if you can't get that in real life in a brick and mortar showroom, then I would maybe avoid it because chances are, in my experience, it's going to turn up defected and you're going to be waiting an extra week or two or however long to get a new one, and who knows if that's going to turn up in good shape. I always mention on these webinars, we had a member, you might remember this, Johnny, it was years and years and years ago. We had a member who had 4 toilets turn up in a week and every single one of them was broken, every single one. So we had to send them all back and it was a nightmare. So that was always the one that sticks in my mind. The other thing with Wolseley Plumb Centre is the manufacturers. So with plumbing and heating, and in fact, I was just talking to Matt about this before we came on. Manufacturers know and trust this account and want to get involved with LNPG. That means that we can offer additional products, we can offer additional contract support, we can bring those terms down and extend the range even further with better products, with different products, with things that you might not put into a rental, but you might put into your own home, like we have with Merlin. Now, that's not going into rental properties, but you're damn sure it's going into a lot of members' properties, so it's a great cherry on top. The final 2 showrooms I've spoken about, I'm going to say it again, these have been absolutely fantastic, of boots on the ground, of the expertise that we get, of spreading that load of 5,500 members. They've been fantastic. Now, they've been fantastic since day one. I won't say that we've never had a problem, but we've had very few problems. And when we do, we've got Matt, we've got Johnny there to back these guys up. And the big one, which I think is a little bit undervalued in a way, is this Nabis range. Now, this is the main range that we work with Wolseley. Nabis is not a real manufacturer. Nabis is their own brand, the white label manufacturer, wherein you've got the likes of that are actually manufacturing these products virtually identical to the stuff that they're selling at a premium under their own brand. But rather than denigrating their own brand and saying, oh, look, you can buy this £100 shower for 50 quid instead, they just stick a Nabis label on it, and all of a sudden that controversy is completely disappeared. So having access to that range and Wolsey having control of that range has been fantastic for us. Now, the problem that we've had is through the years, we started off really, really strong with this proposition. You can see we're working with Nabis primarily. We've got the collection on the left, this is the full Nabis range, and we've reinvented the range for LNPG every single year since 2019. But Nabis itself has stayed a little bit more static. Is that fair to say, Matt? You weren't
Yeah,
expecting me to shut up so soon, were you?
no, 100%. We had what was a market leading proposition to 2018, 2019. The market softened, the appetite softened. We sat back for a period of time. The range reduced in terms of what was viable, but now we've completely rebooted it. And the biggest thing we've done is every single product we've brought to market, we've benchmarked against the big time online players to make sure we are competitive with those products and we are at the races.
And that's competitive on the trade side as well. We're not even talking about LNPG, are we?
100%.
Right. So a few things have happened, of course, in this timeline. You'll notice that the big drop off here is 2020. And what do you know? There was a global pandemic. But the other thing that strikes me, actually, now that you've mentioned the market softening there, Matt, I seem to remember in 2019, a lot of these online players and indeed brick and mortar stores in the bathroom industry, a lot of them went bang in around 2019, in fact, pre-COVID. There was Soak over in Nuneaton. There was Victoria Plumb. There's a few others as well. I can't remember every single one of them, but they used to be absolutely everywhere. And before you knew it, they're either getting bought up and melded into the bigger ones, or they were just completely going into administration. So it's a very different market nowadays. And we've got other players that have come on board, and you've got other bits of competition. But Matt, I guess part of your job is to be aware of that and be cognizant of what's happening in the rest of the market and ensuring that Wolsey are in a position where you're able to compete, right? 2 seconds. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, sorry, just unmuting myself. I'm not used to Zoom. Yeah, 100%. It's, Nabis is never going to be a range that covers off every single product. 80% of the bathroom market sales come from 20% of the products. So this is about getting you the 20% that fits the bill at the very, very, very best possible price indeed. When we talk about the 80% of products that deliver 20% of the sales, that's where we've got other brands. And we've got over 250 different brands. And one of the biggest things we spoke with the years with Anthony, with John, with Laura, we don't have lots and lots of bricks and mortar showrooms, and that is a weakness. However, we encourage anybody, go into any independent showroom, find what you want, go on Pinterest, find what you want, look at those products, and then come and challenge us. And if we can't get the exact product, we will be able to get something very, very similar, and we will be at the races with a price. Not always when it's a branded product as cheap as an online e-tailer. However, what we will give you is the product on time, in full, in one piece. And if there's a problem, we will back it up and deal with it expediently rather than you sitting there waiting for the problem to be resolved by an online e-tailer.
Yeah, part of it is that the time is money as well, right? It's not just getting something for 30 pence cheaper. Although that being said, I know I've had a member call me up and say he's driven 20 odd miles to save 20p on a can of paint once upon a time. I know that there are people like that around. But if you've got a quality product, and that's the other thing I wanted to ask about, Matt, which I'm sure you're going to delve into some of the specifics later on when we talk about this new range and new catalogue that you've been spearheading. But I think it's a lot more difficult with bathroom products to tell what is quality and what is a great bang for your buck versus what is a cheap toilet, what is a cheap sink. It's very difficult from an outsider's point of view to be able to see that. So what insight can you give us on that? Is there a way to do it, or are these all coming from the same manufacturers?
There's very, very few European manufacturers left in existence. A lot of this products comes from the Middle East and the Far East nowadays. I guess, if we talk about toilets, it's a lump of clay, it's thrown in a mold, it's glazed and it's fired in the kiln. But what you'll find is the bigger brands, the bigger companies, the ones that do the research, they won't just make a toilet and sell you a toilet that when you try and flush it, it doesn't do what it's meant to do. they'll flush it, they'll test it, they'll smash it, they'll make another one, they'll flush it, they'll smash it until they get to the effective level, water efficiency, water saving, flushing it away first time, not second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th time, is what you can get with a lot of these online Chinese products. And we buy products from the Far East, Middle East, wherever. We buy them from all over the world. But what we do with all of our products is, and we've done it recently, we do not put a product into our range until it has passed our quality assurance for the UK market, whether that be water efficiency, whether that be BTU for radiators, whether that be standing up to moisture ingress tests. We do not bring products to market unless we are prepared to put our name on it. It's not just a rebranding exercise, labeling something that's not particularly good and punting it out cheap.
Right. Thank you. Well, I'm going to jump back to this now because we've kind of talked a little bit about the problem that we were in, why we needed to have a look at. I say we, like I've done any of this, by the way. It's entirely Matt, as far as I'm concerned, that's done all this. That he's had to go around and reinvent this and look at bathrooms, the bathroom proposition in a fresh way from Plumb Centre's point of view. So we actually did at LNPG, we did a heating and bathroom survey. Maybe some of you guys would have seen this. We did this a few months ago, and we wanted to get members' opinions and members' points of view on where Plumb Centre were at, both in terms of the heating and in terms of the bathrooms, because they're two very different animals. And you find that if you focus on one, as we were focusing on heating over the past few years with the clean heat market mechanism and all that sort of stuff, the bathrooms wasn't getting enough attention. And if we focus too much on bathrooms, then all of a sudden what's going to happen with heating? So we wanted to ask get the full scope. Now, just specifically on bathrooms here, but the first question that we asked was quite an obvious one, right? Do you purchase bathroom products through Plumb Centre? And would you believe 75% of respondents said, yes, I do. So if we'd have just left that question there, I think we'd have walked away quite happily, patted ourselves on the back and gone, okay, how do we win that other 25%? Maybe not 100, but we'll get as close as we can to it. But the second question that we asked here was, aside from Plumb Centre, do you purchase bathroom products elsewhere? Now, this was very high. This is 60% of members that are using Plumb Centre, but are still going elsewhere for other products as well. So that was telling us a few different things about the range, about the proposition, about maybe the price. And we had a look at the qualitative data for this as well. So we asked a few questions. What's your opinion? Can you explain this to us, etc., etc.? And three big themes struck out to us. Now, I know that we mentioned this already, Matt, in terms of the showroom composition that Wolseley have, which, by the way, is infinitely better than we ever had before because we didn't have any showrooms before. So having 19 or 20 or whatever the figure is now is huge. But still, I'm in Leicester and my showroom's in Ipswich. I'm not going to be getting in the car and driving that far. So they are few and far between. So proximity was a bit of an issue. The second thing is range. Another thing that needs to be addressed, the range has been sitting there a little bit since 2020. There had been some updates to it, and of course we were working hard to try and update the LNPG's own range with every single year. But that being said, it needed some care and attention, and that's what Matt's been doing. The final thing, of course, it wouldn't be an LNPG questionnaire without someone bringing up price, and of course price came up. Now the question there is always for me, is it apples to apples? Are we talking about the same kind of products? Which is kind of what I want Matt to talk about later on as well when we're going through these products, this new brochure, this category that we've got, to say what's good and what's bad and how do we actually tell the difference. One thing you mentioned there, Matt, water ingress tests. I had no idea that Wolseley did that. That's huge, because if you're buying any bathroom furniture within 6 months to a year, especially in a rental property where you're not there to look after and make sure that the fan's on and everything's else, it's such a moist environment that you can destroy craply built furniture really, really quickly. And then what members tend to do is they say, well, I won't be buying anything like that ever again. And they just stay away from bathroom furniture. Well, actually, why does bathroom furniture as a category even exist if that's always going to happen to it?
Well, there's 3 or 4 different ways in which bathroom furniture is made, and this is perhaps something for another call, later on down the line, or we can put a Q&A session together that can be viewed. But when I used to work in a bathroom showroom, I would always ask the members, what is the lifestyle of this product? Is this an HMO? Is this a higher class rental outlet? You know, what are you doing with this? And I would quite often say to them, you can have this and it will cost you X, and that's the price point, or you can spend a little bit more and you can have Y. And what Y is going to give you, and this is what you get from the showrooms, you won't necessarily get from the branches. And I really, really want people to, by all means, shop in your local branch, but utilize the knowledge in the showrooms. They will turn around to you and say X product is better than Y because, and this product you will spend 20% more, but you will not be replacing it due to a unreasonable tenant in 6 to 9 to 12 to 15 months. And I took this a long time ago from a friend of mine that has a portfolio well over 100 properties, who has a set lineup of exactly what he puts into every location. And that set lineup is very, very much based on a fit and forget scenario that he knows I'm paying a little bit more for, but I'm not going back on it. And that's what the showrooms will do for you.
Okay, lovely. Well, look, I'm jumping over now to see, I've shown you the problem. Now, Matt, your job is to resolve it. We've got this new catalogue, which I don't even know have been properly published yet, but we only got access to it at LNPG on Friday. And as we sat on that call, I thought everything you're saying to me now, all of these products that you're picking out and telling me the reasons why they work and the reasons why you've chosen them in the first place and the reasons why LNPG members should be interested in them, that's exactly what the members need to hear. So you've got the PDF in front of you, is that right?
That's correct.
Let's just jump through it and you can take us through that. What does this new range look like?
Okay, give me 1 second while I share my right screen. I've got 3 of them in front of me at the moment. 2 seconds. And we should be live with sharing the Nabis brochure.
We can see it. Yeah.
Is that correct? Okay, so the first thing worth noting is this is a new fresh look at the front cover of our catalogue. Now, previously, we would have put products on it, and not everything in the picture is available from a Plumb Centre. This image has been created by one of my showroom managers in our Scarborough showroom using virtual worlds, which is something we'll talk about a little bit more later on that I'm looking to be able to offer to the LNPG members moving forward. Every product in that, except for the picture of the Seahorse, is available from us. Some of its own brand, some of the accessorization is from other brands that we have access to. So we've revisited Nabis in 2 stages over the last 12 months. In stage 1, we revisited things like shower trays, baths, and shower enclosures. Now, what we did very, very differently, and I'll just keep scrolling as I'm talking, what we did very, very differently is rather than this is the product we want to bring to market, this is the price we want to sell it for, and people either bought it or didn't buy it, and we either maintain the price or we strip the price back. Every single product has been researched. What is a fair to market price? What is competitive to your likes of your online e-tailers, your Victorian Plumbing, your screw fixes, etc., etc. And we have, as Anthony said earlier on, we've compared apples to apples, spec to spec. And everything new that we have brought in on our flat trade rate, not the brochure price, the flat trade rate is competitive to Victorian Plumbing and Screwfix. There'll be the occasional anomaly, but when that anomaly occurs, it's either a promotion or we're giving you 5 years warranty and they're giving you 1. And it might be a 5 years difference. So moving through the brochure, within the sanitary ware, the Limone range has been around a long time. It's our best-selling WC range and it continues as it is. We've introduced 2 new ranges of WC, the Tano, which is a soft square, very, very slim seat, and it's a good quality seat. We've had some poor quality seats previously, which we've removed 3 or 4 years ago. Really good quality seat, very, very thin, stylistic look around the basin. Before, we only went for a basin and ped, and we made it hard for you to buy. Separate code for the basin, separate basin for code for the ped. Even in our brochure for all of our customers, and some of this has come from the LNPG feedback, 1 code gets you the lot. Can you buy the bits separately if you break one? Of course you can. But from a buying point of view, it's a lot easier. So we've got a standard close couple WC. This WC is rimless. The advantages of rimless is it can be set to flush with less water. 6 and 4 litres is standard. It can be set to 4 and 2.4. That will save the average 3-person household around £200 a year by making that change to the float valve inside the system. We've introduced the Comfort Height WC. Comfort Height WC, which is really, really strong for those that are maybe slightly more mature or very, very tall like me and want to sit in comfort on a WC. We have a back to wall, and also we have a wall hung, which we've never, ever done before. Johnny, quickly, so close couple Comfort Height WC, E138438. In the brochure, we're at 216 quid.
Repeat that code, please.
E138438.
Cool. Excluding VAT, is this 117
£117 ex VAT. We're at 140 quid for that WC. I know that is substantially cheaper than what you will buy it for on Victorian Plumbing. And I know that will be stocked in all of the showroom branches, and I know it's available within 24 to 48 hours from any other Wolseley Plumb Centre branch up and down the UK. So the Tano is our soft square. There's no need for hundreds and hundreds of toilets. You are either a D shape or you are a soft square. The Tonaro, same common system, same common pedestal, a more rounded base and a more rounded pan. Again, it's rimless, so it's water saving, it's energy saving. They are really, really, really nice products. We've been working on getting these made for us to our specification for over 12 months. As it stands at the moment, we don't have the wall hung. The wall hung is to come in January. That's because we were not happy with the quality of the product and we rejected it and we pushed them back to the drawing board. Traditional. This image again has been created by one of our showrooms. I'll tell you why that could be useful, helpful, and interesting to you later. Previously, for us to offer you a one tap hole basin and pedestal at 99 quid to match Victorian Plumbing, we couldn't do it. If we were doing it, we were losing money. I'll give you a clue. We're not losing money now, but your price on a one tap hole basin and pedestal, E13449, John?
It is, just unmuted myself, 53 excluding VAT. So £60-ish including, just over 60.
63.60. And a close couple WC with what is an amazingly heavy duty MDF wooden seat that's also quick release for ease of cleaning, and it's soft close, which you don't normally see. We're at 223 to our normal retail customer coming in off the street. E13447, John.
Is 107
£107 plus VAT. That is, I think Laura said earlier, how much cheaper that. How much was that compared to our previous traditional, Laura? It was about 180 cheaper.
You're on mute, Laura.
There's about a 46% saving compared to the previous traditional compared to the Harrington.
I remember we put the traditional into the brochure, but it's not been in there that long. But no. it's a really, if you've got very specific tastes of what you want, that's the only thing that can serve it. And I remember we had a member that had a load of properties really, in this idyllic little village, and this is the only thing that he wanted. So he bought a load of those traditional suites because there was nothing else available. This Harrington has come in and blown it out of the water. Yeah. You mentioned, Matt, you've mentioned a couple of times now, this image has been created by one of my showrooms. It's been created by one of my showrooms. Now, what you mean by that, and I didn't know this on Friday until the very end of the meeting, is that's not a real picture of a toilet and a sink and pedestal in a showroom. That is a virtual CGI image. That's what you're saying, right?
It's not even CGI. Previously, we paid tens of thousands of pounds for CGIs a year. That is produced by the design platform we have in our showrooms called Virtual Worlds. So that is my showroom manageress in Scarborough creating that image, rendering that image to that standard, which gives us amazing scope to be able to potentially do something really, really wonderful with the members moving forward.
If you'd have said to me, that is a real life picture from a showroom or from someone's house, well, I would believe you. Is this how far AI has come? That looks real to me.
Not AI will take it even further. This is, AI is the next step for us, and that's something we're developing in the background for people to be able to design their own bathroom remotely, and then just to ping us what they've got and we refine it. But that is literally what someone's done, playing around for about an hour on a computer in a showroom.
Really good. I tell you what, if the next Marvel film is set in a toilet, I know who they're going to call.
Be laughing, mate. Be laughing. So, something quickly. We only have a small volume of locations. We have 24 locations, including Jersey and Guernsey. We are in a point now where we are looking at developing more locations, but use us to get the price. Use us to guide you on the best products to buy, so you don't put yourselves into a hole or back yourselves into a corner where you're buying a substandard product that you regret later on. Go anywhere. Go anywhere, any bricks and mortar showroom. I would be massively shocked. City Plumbing are the biggest. I haven't lost a quote to City Plumbing in 3 years, and I won't, because we know we can compete on a like-for-like basis and be better on that product. So the furniture range we launched in January. We've added to that further. Again, imagery created by a showroom, the Anthracite. The Brando, which is our entry-level, cheap and cheerful furniture. Previously, our old version, Sense, I would never have sold it to an LNPG member because it was massively prone to water ingress, and I always guided them away from it. That was my personal opinion based on years in the industry. This unit is painted and lacquered. There's no seams on the square edges, so there's no chance of any water ingress. So we've taken an entry-level suite, we've accessorized it in brass, we've put in a third-party mirror, some wall boards by Grant Westfield, and we've made it look an absolute $1 million. Black chrome and brass as it stands, a couple of different sizes, matching bath panels again, which are they're not a material with a seam on where water can get into. Excuse me, they're fully painted and lacquered. They're approximately half the price of what we used to sell.
Are these the bath panels, Matt? You mentioned to me you were going on about bath panels for a long time.
That's later, Anthony. Don't steal my thunder.
Okay, fine. Just
shortly.
Looking at that, you mentioned cheap and cheerful for the Brando there. That it looks anything but.
Yeah,
it looks amazing.
Yeah, so that's the Tonaro pan. That is all of our own products in here. It's a third-party push button that comes from Twyla because we can't justify stocking that, and I'll get to the justification for why we stock, and why we don't stock what we stock. Radiator of a company called DQ, Double Quick Heating. They will deliver a rad next day. They will do you RAL colours. If you've got a kitchen in your property and you want a radiator or a towel warmer to match the colour of your furniture, you give them the RAL, they will come up with something that matches your furniture to go into your kitchen.
The difference to me, Matt, there is when you look at the unit, the basin unit and the toilet unit without the beautiful image on the left, you tend to look at it and think, oh, that's cheap. It's going to look crap. But then when you see it together with the brass and everything that's there, you think, actually, it looks much better. And that's the first time we've ever used an image, you said to me, of it actually together.
Yeah.
So the customer can see,
yeah. So it can be modular, separate, it can be bumped together. It's got the gloss white, it's got the stone grey. The stone grey matte is a lovely product. I'd love to see that take off even better. We then get into the Heston range. The Heston range is slightly higher end, slightly nicer. The picture here is of fluted. So we've got a fluted unit with what they call black gola rails. Tall boy, it's deliberately smooth on the top to maintain the lines across here. And it's smooth on the top panel because if not, you put the flush button on there, you've got potentially water ingress behind the button or the button not sitting straight. This is a new addition. This will be in the UK by the end of November. It's not quite here yet. Again, benchmark this product like for like. And if you believe you found it like for like cheaper, ping it into the LNPG office, they'll ping it across to me. And if we need to push back harder, to negotiate harder, we will do that. We are very, very interested in doing it. All of this stock is carried in our feeders. It is on a next day stroke 2 day worst scenario availability into your local Plumb Centre branch. Scroll quickly through that. Move on. Bath showers, baths we haven't added anything to in the last year. Baths are all made in the UK, so an incredibly short lead time. This is the range that we carry. This covers off 80% of what we sell in the UK, but it's only 20% of the market. We've recently negotiated with a company called Karen, who are the biggest bath company in the UK. We now have Karen baths available to us at price points significantly cheaper than the vast majority of the market, and a lot cheaper than the likes of Eastbrook, who have brought out copies of those baths that are not quite on the same level. We brought in a black and a brass pop-up waste we didn't have before. Now, this product here, and I'm going to zoom in on this, it looks like a boring white bath panel. It's two parts. It's a plinth and it's a panel. That product is 100% waterproof. It is made out of the same material as your soffits, fascias, and barge boards on the outside of your house. You can drill it, you can cut it, you can do whatever you want to it. It will not lose shape like a normal bath panel, and it will not allow any form of water ingress. What's the price on a 1700ml, completely utterly waterproof, fit once and don't walk away, don't go back to it ever again panel, John? EO 1215.
53.
£53 plus that. Now, you can buy a cheap panel at 20 quid. It will go yellow. It will split. And if you cut it, it will lose all its structural integrity. Because it's got the plinth on it, if your floor's out, you can take that adjustment out of the floor. It is 15 plus mils thick, and it is built like an absolute tank. Previously, we were buying this product in for more than what we're selling it for, and we were selling them out in the £80-90 plus price point. But now we've sourced it direct because we know there's a demand for it, and that's what we're trying to do for everybody.
It's one of those I just think it's one of those where people just don't know about it, and they need to be. Again, the showrooms come in because they can advise that. Look, if you buy this, you never have to buy a panel again.
Bath screens. We haven't had anything new since January, but we do now have. We have a refined two-piece bath screens. If you've got a bath, they are the way to go for any landlord. Your leak point is always this corner, because all the water sits on the corner. People aim the shower at the corner. It comes out between where my cursor is. This part is fixed on the second image. The first X amount of mils is fixed. It can be sealed. It brings the weak spot where someone decides to put the shower on it, and lo and behold, it's not waterproof, and you direct the shower on it. It brings it forward from the normal usage position, where you get the horrible trickle down the side, and then you get the limescale build up, and then perhaps you get the moisture ingress if you haven't got the top quality panel, or potentially you get issues with your flooring. So again, it's a very, very simple range. At the moment, it is just chrome. It is just chrome. 50% of the UK market is still chrome. The remaining 50, and the numbers fluctuate, is black or gunmetal or brass or bronze. We are looking at bringing more products in to that space, but we're only going to bring them in if we can be competitive. We're only going to bring them in if we can give you a good deal. Otherwise, there's absolutely no point in it. So moving into showering, another CGI image created by the showroom. We've completely reinvented our showers. We have gone out and we've retendered, and we've specified what features we want from products within the market, and we have sourced products based on the features that we know sell. So we've got your single mixers, 3 settings on the head, chrome, black, and a square. We've then got the dual outlet showers. The dual outlet showers in the chrome, the black, and the brass. John, AO5841.
Caught me on the bounce there. AO5841.
Yeah.
127, that's the brass one.
That's a brass effect shower. The drench head, the big head at the top, I'm 6'4". I'm not sure how tall John is. That can be adjusted in terms of height. That can be pivoted to one side when you're soaping up your hair. The face of it is a different material that won't get any kind of limescale build-up or discoloration. Smooth-bodied hose, so you won't get all that horrible limescale in your property and it looks scummy in 9, 12, 15 months. That's the brass one. That's the most expensive product. It's also in black. It's also in chrome. And we brought to market a traditional shower. Traditional showers, something we've not done before. AO5847, John.
Can you zoom in a wee bit on that one?
Of course, can, mate.
Sorry, I was just looking at the one we just talked about in brass at 127. I was looking at the chrome one, so because that's the one that impressed me the most when I came across the price. So the chrome one, the dual, which I imagine will be the most popular. Bearing in mind the old version of that, which used to be obviously came straight from a major manufacturer, was about 180. We're selling that for £74 to LNPG. So
and the thing is, we haven't gone away and just gone, right, where can we get it cheap, made in the garden shed somewhere? We have sought out the factories that make it for the top brands.
This is insane. Do you know, before I worked at LNPG, Johnny knows this, I used to work for a shower manufacturer. That's how I heard about LNPG in the first place.
Which one?
Is the only, it was Triton. This is the only product that seems to be anti-inflationary. You couldn't buy a dual outlet shower head, a shower like this, especially I don't remember ever seeing one that you could bring up and down, because I'm the same as you, Matt, that if you go into one that's set a little bit low, you end up standing like this and it's a nightmare. You couldn't buy one for 74 quid 10 years ago when I was working there. It was treble that.
Yeah.
That is an insane price.
It's about sourcing right. It's about volume of scale. It's one of the reasons why the range is not. It's not a huge, all-encompassing range. It is the 20% that caters for 80% of the need. You want anything outside of that, we can do it. You name the brand, we can do it. You give us a product, we can find something equivalent. That's where the showrooms come into themselves beyond the branches. The branches are all amazing, great people, amazing product knowledge. But on a daily basis, they do not have the same level of awareness or touch on all of these brands. So we've got a traditional shower valve there called the Hampton, traditional handset, riser rail. Did you give a price on that, John?
I'm doing it now. And just quickly, and correct me if I'm wrong, Matt. All of these showers come with the fast fitting kits. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they used to be £20 from Bristol.
Yeah, traditionally, what showers come with from all of the big brands, they come with these ugly metal elbows that are 15 mil to about 22 mil, and they are designed for the continental market to go into solid walls. And if you fit them in the UK and someone puts any weight on the shower, guess what? The shower rips out the wall. So to fit a shower properly, you need a fast fix kit, which is suitable for plasterboard, hollow wall fixings, new build properties. All of the showers come with the fast fix kits included. That was part of our specification. It's something we've never ever done before, and it's something that a lot of the large brands, German brands that are exceptionally good quality, do not provide as an out-of-box experience.
The Hampton is £97.
£97. Okay. A product which is really, really old. Thermostatic bath shower mixers. Requirements to have thermostatic in certain properties. This product we've done for years. We've never really sold it because no one's really ever known about it. So it's not the prettiest thing on earth, but it's basically a thermostatic tap. So it's going to give you that level of control over temperature. It's going to satisfy certain regulations. It's going to certify certain safety elements. AO5040, John.
92.
You will not find that cheaper.
You mentioned this is thermostatic. It's been a while for me, but as far as I remember, the requirement for certain properties was that it needed to be TMV2 or TMV3 compliant. Is this TMV2 compliant?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So rather than where I rented a flat a few years ago down the waterfront in Ipswich, rather than having a TMV valve underneath the bath that meant I could run a bath on full hot and it was still lukewarm, so I took the bath panel off and played around with the pipe work so I wasn't wasting loads and loads of lukewarm water. You've got the control of, there it is, it's thermostatically controlled, it's safe, and there I can override it and put hotter water into the product. So,
Matt, where did you say you did that? Did you say you were on holiday?
No, I rented a flat down the waterfront where I live in Ipswich, and
Oh,
they'd fitted
fine. Okay. So you were living there. I
T&V.
thought like literally it was for the weekend and you were starting
No,
messing
no,
around
no,
with the
no.
plumbing.
No, no. I was getting fed up of running a bath of full hot water, and it
Yeah.
was still lukewarm.
Yeah.
So I disconnected my T&V valve and redid the plumbing, and it saved me a fortune on my gas bill, but it shouldn't have done it. So shower enclosures, we've added a few new sizes along the way. Again, these are the most common sizes. Other sizes are available. We are working on trying to bring color into this kind of product, but it won't be the full range because the sales aren't there to back it up. As I said, for every 1,000 chrome, you will sell 50%. You'll sell 250 brass and 250 black for every 500 chrome sold. So we will look to bring those in the near future. We have obviously the Merlin brand, which has exceptionally great discounts for LNPG members, and we have plenty of other brands available to us. Just going to zoom back out a bit. Something that's not really been celebrated is the shower trays. The Nabis shower trays, they come from JT. They are a JT Fusion spec tray. They are not a amended spec. They are JT Fusion. And if you look at the spec of JT Fusion trays and the price point and how they're made, you will see just how absolutely outstanding this is. And we've introduced anti-slip as well around 6 months ago, which we didn't do before.
I
We've also
fear that virtually everyone on this call, apart from you, is going to say, "What the hell is JT Fusion?" So these are the best guys for shower trays, but what does that mean?
So just trays are UK manufacturer. They are the biggest UK manufacturer. They're regarded as a market leader. They're part of a much bigger group. Their market share is probably the most substantial. So it's a stone resin tray, which is basically a mixture of stone and pumice. They've used pumice because it's lighter than what the trays used to be. Poured into acrylic, and then the tray is also backed. Some trays don't have a backing on. It's just the rough stone. So these trays are also backed. So they're very, very, very strong. Very strong, very substantial. The pumice has brought the weight down, which is great because some of them they are two-person lifts. These, on the whole, apart from the very, very big sizes, can be lifted by one person. We've also given you right and left-handed illustrations. I reckon that on average, all bathroom retailers probably supply left as right and right as left 4, 5, 6, 7 times a week because people can't, they all try to orientate the room and get it wrong. So we've given you the diagram of what's the right and what's the left, just to try and make that easier. Avoid that wrong tray and that lost day's labor with your trader when you're waiting for the new tray to come. Brassware, we have stripped the range back. We've stripped the range back because certain models and styles just did not sell, and we're buying more of the ones that do sell. That's enabled us to realign the prices on all of the brassware. We've taken the Swiss range, which was the most popular. We've expanded it into black and brass. Bath tap, basin pillars, bath shower mixer in all three. And we've been able to, on that basis, realign the price points on other brassware in it. We've got a new traditional range called the 1887, which is the year that Wolseley's was formed. If you look online, you'll see very, very similar taps. We haven't done a bath mixer in these for the simple reason that in traditional bathrooms, traditional baths, bath shower mixers with the telephone on top outsell about, I think it's 3 to 1 or nearly 4 to 1 on that basis, which I know blew you away, and we spoke about it before, Anthony. So for a two tap hole traditional bath shower mixer, John, which is a lot of brass, AO 5663, what are we talking?
663. It is 59
quid plus VAT. 5-year guarantee on that tap. The cartridges and the parts are held by us in our own feeders. Keep your receipts, and if the tap starts dripping, you have a problem, contact your local showroom or branch, provide that. They can order those spare parts in for you under your
British
Go on.
brands tap.
No,
No.
it's not identical to, but I believe it may come out of the same factory.
It's a beautiful tap.
Mm.
So getting back into waste, we've got the bath wastes. We've introduced the universal clicker. So previously, you might want to do something a bit different with a nice, really good looking vessel basin, a bowl on top. Personally, wouldn't recommend it for a rental because people don't treat them particularly great. But you've got a basin without a overflow. You've got to buy a completely different waste to what you'd usually buy. This is a universal waste. This is suitable for a basin with an overflow, a basin without an overflow. Full metal composition. Similar products from other businesses that we sell retails at circa 50 quid for a waste. Brass clicker, we're going out to our retail customers at £14.40. A05683.
You're on mute, Johnny. He's away. He doesn't care.
No, the news popped up as I went to unmute. Comes from the left-hand side of the screen. 774.
Universal waste.
Cheap as a standard. It's cheap as the one at the top left, the C5530. It's as cheap as that.
Oh, I'm glad that you brought that one up because I wanted to mention this. So two things here, Matt. One, you say that this is universal. Now, I don't understand how it can be because it's either slotted or unslotted, right? As to whether it's got an overflow. So it's either got a hole in or it's not got a hole in. How can that possibly be
So
both?
on a basin that has an overflow, the depth, the width between the top of the bowl and the base of the bowl will have the space for that channel to let the water in, the gap on the side.
Yes.
This waste, depending on how thick that is, if it's thin because it doesn't have an overflow, it clamps right up and no water can go into it. And if it is thicker, the thread doesn't go up quite as tight and it allows the water to travel through.
That's clever. That's very clever.
It's a universal waste. So that's the one to buy if you are in any doubt whatsoever about what your final lineup basin is going to be. And they are all
the second question then, Matt, is the one up the top there, C50530. So any click clack basin waste I have been suspicious of because we had a few issues when we initially launched this years and years and years ago with Wolseley. Do you remember this, Johnny? Where members found that it would work fine for a year and then it would start getting stuck and it wouldn't come back up. And I had exactly the same issue because I bought one and the same thing happened. So we swapped over to a swivel. How do we know it's not going to happen with these ones?
Right. So there is no waste of perfection. Okay, so waste with click clacks. If you want to keep your waste, especially in hard water areas, you want to keep your waste fit and healthy, 6 to 12 months, take the cap off, take out the plunger, boil a kettle, white wine vinegar, chuck it in, gets rid of all the crud, gets rid of the hair from when you shave, gets rid of the toothpaste, gets rid of the soap. That maintains it and keeps it going. Captive waste, the one you're talking about, the little disc spinner, problems with those is, and I've had it myself, you don't get it quite flat, you run a bowl of water, you come back and there's no water in it because it's slightly tilted. Or, as a friend of mine had recently, to put those into a scout headquarters, you get some sand or some grit in it and it jams shut. The only way you're getting it out is putting a screwdriver and then belting it with a hammer. The beautiful thing about these universal click clacks is if that universal click clack jams, if this one jams, you are not going to unscrew that disc for love nor money because it's recessed. With these mushroom style ones, because it is exposed over the top, you can undo it, you can remove the plunger, you can clean it and restore it. There is no waste that's 100%. Plug and chain, people break the chain or they steal the plugs. Captive waste, they get jammed or they don't seal properly. Click clacks, it's hard water, it's soap scum, it's toothpaste, it's facial hair. But nothing's perfect. that for me gives the best look, the best style, the best efficiency, and also the ease that if there's a problem, you can resolve it quickly.
That's the one then, Laura. Note for new LNPG brochure. We go with that one,
I,
and it's
I
cheaper
think
than the other one as well. Yeah,
You
you've
know,
sold that really well.
it's all about saving you time, saving you money, saving you downtime. You know, last thing you want with a tenant is days of aggro and ball ache resolving an issue that can be
So,
fixed quickly and
if the
efficiently.
option is for the tenant to sit there and not be able to use their sink for a week while you pay an absurd amount of money for a tradesperson to come out and unscrew a waste, or them trying to do it themselves, and as you say, big screwdriver, big mallet, bosh, oh great, you've got a whopping hole in your sink as well now. Little fixes like this for when you're not there in the property and you're not able to use your own common sense and figure it out yourself
Yeah.
are invaluable.
Push comes to shove in your downtime, you unscrew it, you let the water out, you screw it back on, you put the water in.
So you've got that escape route. Brilliant.
Sorted. Towel rails, this is something that these are not live yet. These do have a slight delay on them due to we want to make sure we are certifying the right BTU rate. Quick one on BTUs, I'm conscious of time. Be very, very mindful, landlords, when you're buying a radiator or you're buying a towel rail. When a company states a BTU, they will state whether it's tested at Vector 50 or Vector 60. Vector 50 is the standard. Vector 60, which means a much, much, much higher operating temperature of your boiler, gives a false heating readout. Nobody runs their boiler at Vector 60. It costs you an arm and a leg. So be very, very mindful when you're looking at BTUs and what heat it gets to make sure you are buying a product, whether it's ours, whether it's someone else. This is a gift just to make sure you don't get striped up. You want a Vector 50 product. These are going to be available in anthracite, cappuccino, espresso, a grey sparkle, a matte black, a moss green, a steel blue, white sparkle. Straight valves, angled valves, and corner, which is the nicest installation because you can take the pipes back to the wall and the valves run in line. Also in traditional chrome, a brushed brass, a gunmetal, a satin brushed nickel, and a brushed bronze, plus the other ones that we had before previously in the Navis range. They will all be available within the next 4 to 6 weeks, hopefully sooner.
Yeah, we've got there's a cartel range that we've got on the LNPG price list in black and chrome, limited sizes, but they're really, really well priced. The black ones especially,
yeah. We haven't done anything new in accessories. That's one for the future. We're working on a special range of accessories for you. We're never ever going to try and compete in the cheap and cheerful DIY store ones, but then again, we don't want to sell you something that will lose its chrome plating in about 30 seconds. We want to sell you something that when you drill your holes in the wall and you put it on the wall, it will stand the test of time over 5 to 10 years plus. But that is a watch list space. That's me.
Good. We've ended with a bit of a fizzle there, but we almost could have ended on those towel rails because it wasn't that long ago, Laura. Do you remember we were having a conversation with Wolseley and we were looking at the towel rails and we almost burst out laughing at what the range was only a few months ago. And I said to you the other day, Matt, that this is exactly the type of product that one, I see members asking for, and that two, I never would expect Wolseley to stock. And that you'd never ever put this into a brochure in all these different colours because of the concern that, well, you've got a brushed bronze, how many of those are you going to sell versus the gunmetal? So I would expect a really conservative approach of we'll do a chrome, maybe in 6 months we'll do a black, maybe 6 months after that we'll do brushed brass, but we're not doing any more than that. This is completely new for Plumb Centre as far as I'm concerned. So why can you do it here, but it's never been the case before?
So it's all about scale. So where we've introduced the Twyla furniture, which is going to be expanded on further in the new year, we found partner brands in the UK that are prepared to sit on the inventory because they believe they can sell the inventory. And then there is a small intermediary charge. So rather than me buy a container load of brushed bronze, they buy a container load of brushed bronze. They are accepting a small markup I'm able to give you a very, very competitive price. And we are looking at doing that more. So if we do embark upon black and brass enclosures, we'll be looking at that same model. You know, we can't, we would never buy a container load of brushed brass, brushed bronze, satin brush nickel. We'll let the specialists that know the market make that decision and take that risk. And then we will negotiate as strong as we can to bring the best price to market for all of the LNPG members.
Brilliant. Thank you. Well, I'm just going to jump over to the final bits of the presentation then. Could you stop sharing your screen? I don't know whether...
Yes, mate.
I can replace, actually, because I just want to talk a little bit about what's happening in the future before we go over to questions. And I know we've had a few questions through already. So this is your bit, Matt, but there's I guess one thing that isn't on here is the design thing that you mentioned. Although, is that take part in the design appointments?
Yeah. So historically, we've never offered design to LNPG members. Now, we've not offered it for several reasons. The average design on the platform as it was, it's an hour and a half to 2 hours. And if you're designing a bog standard 2 meter by 1700 bathroom, it isn't really worth it. Got to be completely and utterly truthful. And it would take an hour and a half to 2 hours to design and render, and then we'd have to build a quote, which would take another hour. So it's 3 hours to produce one bathroom. We're in the process at the moment of reinventing how our software works. So end to end, design and quote, images of the quality you see on the brochure will be 45 minutes to an hour, which means I'm looking to make design available, whether it be a face-to-face consultation and we design it, or a face-to-face consultation, you get on with your busy day and we email your designs in 24, 48 hours, or even a virtual design appointment. So a virtual design appointment is something that I am looking to do. My reservations about doing that, and this is where I need the members' support and I need everything from LNPG support. We tried doing virtual appointments before with a referral, check a trade, trust a trader, that kind of business. And we were having 80 to 100 virtual design appointments being booked that were Teams, Zoom, whatever based. And the actual show up rate was less than 10%. So we were booking out our diary, we were booking out our time. Because we are in active, busy showrooms. We have footfall. Some days we might see 5 people, some days we might see 50. And we were booking out our time and we were wasting 90% of that time. So it's something I'm looking to bring to the party, to be able to offer a virtual consultation and design, or a face-to-face design for LNPG, and only for LNPG as a trial. But it's something I would ask that if I can make this happen and bring it to the party with Anthony and the team at LNPG and John, that you absolutely...
I completely agree with you, Matt, because look, you've done a huge amount, and can I just commend you for one, the passion that you have for bathrooms, not just that, and I know that sounds like a bit of a boring thing to say, but actually you make me excited about bloody bathrooms as well. That's how good you are at speaking about this. But I don't want you then to stick your neck on the line for virtual design appointments. I think that's great. I think that's going to solve the proximity problem. It's going to help members out with larger developments. Yeah, maybe you don't need it for every bathroom, but if you've got a vision in mind and you want to see that down 45 minutes, absolutely. But that being said, you can't stick your neck on the line and then members not show up to it. So we've got to get behind this as well, and we've got to show your bosses that if we say we want something, we bloody well want it. It's not the case of we're just going to do it. Now, some people might not be able to attend, but they should be able to cancel that appointment in advance at the very least. So I'm completely with you on that.
Yeah. So, you know, it's something that I'm aiming to be able to offer it from at the earliest January, but more realistically March next year. We'd look to give members a number of design credits which is full designs, amends, etc., and then figure out with Anthony and the team, what we do in terms of those credits if that service isn't used and it's wasted. We want to help you be more effective. We want to help you make sure that you don't end up in that horrible position, which I've seen probably 500 or 600 times over the last 15, 20 years. You go out, you know what you want, you buy what you want, your fitter turns up and your fitter says, that ain't going to work, that ain't going to fit, that's too big, that's too small, we can't get the waste to run that way. And then you are running around using up your busy time trying to find solutions and potentially paying them to stand there drinking tea for 48 hours, which we don't
and
want.
therefore, all of the pricing that you've negotiated goes out the window because you've just spent £1,000 for a bloke to be sitting in your bathroom for a week.
Yeah,
I completely agree. Let's jump over to some questions. Johan, I'm going to start with you just because you've unmuted yourself a few times. So this is your warning now. If you want to jump in and ask a question, if that's what you were trying to do before, then feel free to jump in. If otherwise you were just unmuting yourself to talk in the background, then feel free to do it again. But this is your opportunity to speak. I'm hearing nothing so far. If you do jump in, then we will just carry on. So we're going to jump through the other questions. Now, one that I noticed come in as you were talking, Matt, this was the bit where we were talking about the Twyla furniture. And I remember you spoke to us a few months ago, probably at the very beginning of when we were talking about maybe doing the webinar. You were talking about Twyla and why you've brought it in and why it's so good and everything else. Now, Richard said it looks like a copy of the Atlanta brochure. And Atlanta, of course, is the brand that we used before. We still work with Atlanta and with Be Modern, who are part of that same company. So why the switch over to Twyla from Wolseley's point of view?
So
That was the Nabis, though, wasn't it? So we haven't actually showed Twyla this evening.
Sorry, was that not Twyla?
Yeah. No, that's our own Nabis.
Well, answer the question however you see fit, but thank you, Johnny, because I didn't know that.
So I'll answer Richard's question both ways. So if we're talking about the Nabis brochure in comparison to the Atlanta brochure, the Nabis brochure, we've changed a lot of the content, a lot of the pictures, but the rough layout of this brochure, the schematics, the inside of the front cover, and the blah, blah, blah bits padding in between hasn't actually changed since 2017, 2018. So if anybody has copied anybody, it's not been us copying anybody else. Looking at it from the switch with Twyla and with Atlanta, look, Atlanta are a great British manufacturer of products, and they do some great product. They do. Twyla has been put together, and we've brought that to market because what it offers is a next day or 2 day delivery. It offers an ease of purchase, i.e., if you are doing the most standard runs, and this is market data that we've taken from Twyla, 12 and 1500 are the two most common runs. There's obviously 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And we can cater for all that through the showrooms. That's not a problem. But they are the most common ones. So the idea of Twyla was one code gets you everything. You don't miss a plinth, an end panel, a clad-on panel, a handle. Everything's there in one shebang. And when you base it like for like on equivalent products across the industry, it is market leading on price. We are going to refine it further. We are to reduce the price point, but with reduction of price point puts increased labor cost. Because on Twyla at the moment, when you buy Twyla, that top fascia panel is pre-cut for that basin. It's pre-cut and it's factory sealed. If you have a worktop, which we're going to introduce, and a ceramic basin, semi-recessed, that cut has got to be made by your trader. That takes longer. That isn't necessarily cut. If they cut it wrong, you've got to buy another panel and it has delay. But we are looking to add to it because it does help with price point. Laminate worktops of longer lengths and lengths that match. Infill panels. So if you've got a space that's 1540, and Johnny raised his question the other night for one of his friends, So where you got 1565 and you got 1500 run, you could buy a worktop, cut it to size, and infill panels to fill the gap. Atlanta is still someone we work with. It's just from a basis of simplicity, the Twiler range ticks more of the boxes for me. And then the showrooms can cover off the rest of the different bits and pieces.
Well, I'm glad that you're not being sentimental about it as well. I like Atlanta. I've used their products in the past. I think it's a great quality. But at the end of the day, if there's a better proposition out there, then there's a better proposition out there. Now, I see Johnny's just answered a question and I'm glad that you have, because I was unaware of this, which is Craig's asked, are you going to look at shower panels? Multi-panel don't do wide ones anymore and therefore are not cost effective. As far as I was aware, they're still doing the same size range.
So all of their standard panels, classic range, Linda Barker range, etc., are still available in 598, 900, and 1200. All they have done is with some of their tile ranges, they are 598 only. That is to make sure it's an ease of installation piece, because in so many properties, can you get a 1200 panel up the stairs, especially perhaps in an HMO, getting it up and around stairways going up can be tricky. It's only in their tile collection that they've limited it to 598 boards. And those boards do work out to be more expensive because there's more involved in it. There's the routering out to create the grout line, etc. And that is not dissimilar to what anybody else is doing in the tile effect boards in that space, whether it be Berry Alloc, whether it be who else is in the tile space, Wet Wall, whoever's in the tile space, they're all at that 598 format because that suits the tile format of 600.
Do they still do multi-panel when it comes to the tile range? If you remember the one that Craig's probably referring to, that flimsy 3mm floppy tile panel, do they still offer that?
They don't offer it, but if you talk to a showroom, I can get you that high pressure laminate, really, really thin 3mm product, which has to have joining strips. I can get you that. I can get you the corrugated plastic stuff that's hollow cord. You name it, we can get it. If we can't get it, then I will be scared.
Do you want to? Do you want the hollow plastic crap?
I personally, I don't. I think it's a false economy, because by the time you add on all the trims and all the joints, and okay, it's waterproof, but the joints leave chance of moisture ingress. Moisture ingress gets behind, takes your plaster off your walls, strips you back to bare brickwork. No.
For me, it's not worth it. I appreciate what you're saying in that you've got that ability, but I would want the showrooms to be saying that we can get that, but here's the risk.
And that's what they'll absolutely do. You know, potentially in branch world, they'll give you whatever you ask for, which is great. The showroom teams, and it's not about selling more, it's about not having the comeback. They don't want the comeback. They will try, if they think there is a better alternative, they will attempt to switch sell you, because that's the brief they've been given.
Hugh's asked a question here, and by the way, you don't need to be nice to Hugh, because about 2 years ago he made fun of my lamp, and I've not forgotten it on one of these webinars. But he's asked about bath panels. Can you or / have you reviewed bath panels construction? As in the last 6 months, I've had 3 that have split at the L point corners of that bath range due to poor reinforcement design.
I own a house which I don't live in. I rent a house where I live. I have a 1500 L-shaped bathroom, and I feel your pain. Yes, can we get you a much better, stronger, reinforced panel that will not crack? Yes, we can. We can sell you that. Can we get you one that is more UV stable and won't discolor? Yes, we can. Will the price point quadruple? Yes, it will. You know, at that level of price point on those panels, whether it be from Egyptian made baths, which is a big piece of the UK market, whether it be from Trojan, who are UK based that make ours, they are very, very thin plastic. They have 4 L-shaped pieces glued onto them to reinforce. they're not amazing. I'm not gonna pretend they're not. We are looking at the possibility of bringing a product to market which is made of that same completely waterproof material, and it would come as a kit with a base post, a top post, two panels, and a joining piece in the middle. But again, it's about, can we bring it to market at a price that people would pay, or are people, yourself, it sounds like you want something that's fit and forget. Can we bring it to market at a price where we can actually sell them through? But I'm more than happy. My email address is my first name dot surname at wolsey.co.uk. You want to email me privately, tell me what you've got. I'll come up with some better alternatives for you, and the best price we can offer them to you at.
So that's soffit fascia one that you mentioned earlier on. It's not just as simple as that's also available as a L shape or whatever it might be.
No, you're not going to get as an L shape. You're not going to be able to cast it that way. You can get ones that are cast from much, much thicker plastic, similar to what the Caronite bath panels are. But you are going to quadruple the price, if not maybe 5 times. But I'm more than happy to pick up with, find out, and see what we can offer to you. Because, yeah, I've got exactly the same problem in my place. Bending down to...
Sorry, Matt, if you're going to go for a shower bath, then would you stay away? Would you advise don't get an L shaped, get a P shaped? Are the panels
the problem? Any bath with a standard panel, they are very, very flimsy, and especially the second you cut it, you lose all the structural integrity. If you want a bath that offers the showering space but allows you still to have a straight panel where you don't have the inbuilt weakness. In the Navis brochure, there's a bath called the Hepburn. Now, the Hepburn is a straight bath, but it's almost like it's got a much wider area at the head than it has at the end of the bath. So the bath is not straight, it's almost key-shaped. So it is straight, and then it widens at the head. That would be my suggestion. And it also saves you a fortune in terms of the bath screen.
Has anyone on this meeting ever stood in the shower in a normal bath and gone, I could do with an extra 15 mil on my left-hand side here? I wonder whether this is the simple solution is not the best solution. If just don't buy a L shape. I like the look of an L-shaped bath, but what's the point if it's going to cause you issues?
It's 10% of the UK market, and it's only a UK market thing. I like a bit more space, but then again, I'm a unit. I'm about as wide as I am tall. But, the Hepburn would be my go-to if you want that bit bigger showering experience, but without the risk factor on the panels.
That makes sense. One more question, and then I'm going to let you go, Matt. And this is from Richard, and this is a question that comes, is close to my heart, which is, have you got any showrooms in the Midlands? So I'm in the cultural capital of Europe here in Leicester, and my closest showroom is Ipswich. It used to be Solihull, and I thought the Solihull one was coming back.
So there is no 100% guarantee in this. But Solihull as a location was very, very, very positive for us. There was various operational challenges, and I'm confident I will get you a showroom in the Midlands area in the not too distant future. What we are also doing, and Leicester's a very, very good call on that one, Anthony, we are into our branch networks, putting more bathroom displays into our trade counters. As we are refreshing trade counters, we are putting 2 to 3 best-selling bathroom options into our trade counters. Leicester is part of the next batch we are looking at, and I've actually got the drawings for what will be in Leicester, and that will be a viable, it won't be showroom manned, but there is a viable option being looked at.
Richard says he can't even find a trade counter. Where are you, Richard? Can you just pop it in quickly? While you do that, and by the way, Leicester's a bit odd because you've got a Wolseley and then you've got a different merchant and another Wolseley, like in Freeman's Common. He's in Lichfield. Like almost next door neighbours to one another. It's very, very strange. So Lichfield, where's that? That's sort of West Midlands, is it? Anywhere near there? I mean, there is a Worcester one, but I'm sure there'll be a branch there. I'm sure there'll be a branch there.
Is that where
notice.
so this Tamworth is 8 miles away.
North of Birmingham. Yeah, Tamworth. He says Aldridge slash Lichfield.
Cannock, 8 miles away. Walsall, 9 miles away. Sutton Coldfield, 10 miles away. That's a climate centre, though. Burton, 12 miles away.
Tamworth
All,
is
all,
probably the best bet.
all of those branches at the moment have full access to the Worcester showroom. They can do the design. They can do all the different bits, which do all the different bits and pieces for you remotely. There are others that previously we put showrooms where showrooms fit. We are now taking a different approach on how do we make a showroom fit into the right location. And Birmingham being a massive centre of population, it is something that's a very, very live topic of conversation.
So just going back on this, I don't want to dwell on this too much, but Richard's saying that Tamworth isn't showing up on Google, but we are sure that that exists, are we? Can we just double check on that and we'll send over an email tomorrow or pick up the phone to Richard?
I'm just going to put the branch finder. Our website is the best one to go by. Use the branch finder off there.
I might have just beaten to it, Johnny.
Oh, we think alike.
Right. Well, let's just double check it exists before we send someone to an empty lot. That's the end of our bathroom discussion, though. I'm surprised, actually. We've unfortunately gone a little bit over, but I think this is only a good thing that we carry on talking about these different things and having debates about the best shape of bath and everything else. It's not a position that I expected to be in. That's kudos to yourself, Matt and Johnny, for all of the changes that you've brought through. Now, I know, Johnny, you weren't happy with the original email that I sent out where I said that you've destroyed everything that was in, what was the wording? Demolished.
Relentless demolition.
Relentless demolition. I was using performative language to try and sell the idea of the webinar. Because the thing is, it started off as a really good account, and it is still a really good account, but it is long overdue a bit of an overhaul. And Matt, the way that you've spoken about that today and everything that you've done, it is 10 times better than it was even when we first launched. So thank you so much for all of that hard work. I really hope to see this account grow and grow and grow off the back of this. But if we need anything more, we know that you're there in the background and batting for LNPG. So I just want to say thank you for that. Members, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We do have one final webinar to end the year. I think our final one is in November, which will be the final Wednesday of November. What is that on, please, Laura?
To be confirmed.
To be confirmed. Oh, is it really? We've got an open. Because otherwise we're booked up until like next March. So
yes.
We'll figure out what that will be.
I've got someone in mind. I've just got to pressure them.
Okay, stick a bit of pressure. Yeah, that's fine. Up until that point, do give us a call or drop us an email if you need anything. Thank you so much for spending your evening with us, and we'll speak to you very soon. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you.